Okay, so we don't play the first chord. The first thing that we hear is English horn after that chord. We don't play the chord. And if you can think of this as a decrescendo on the way up, so start bigger. Comfortable and big. It doesn't have to be a huge sound. You've got no competition at all, but just a little bit of diminuendo to the top. Not a lot, just a little. Here we go.
I was accepted to Manhattan School of Music for vocal performance. And I was also accepted to a few other places. But being 18, growing up in Michigan, going to New York City was really where it was at for me. And plus, it was where, from my perspective, where all of this amazing stuff was happening for opera. I mean, the Metropolitan Opera is in New York. Does it get better than that? But here I was, 18, thinking, okay, I'm going to learn my technique. I'm going to master my instrument so that I can be an opera singer and be in the opera world. And that's when my struggle really began. I bounced around from voice teacher to voice teacher, searching for this idea of technique that made sense. Because for me, it was really confusing. It was this idea of raise your soft palate, put your sound in your mask, and lower your larynx, and you've got to feel the ping right here, and all these different things. And I was a really good student. I really worked hard at trying to do all of these things at the same time. But the result is that it really kind of got me confused and tied up in knots. It got to the point in my mid to late 20s where I was having these experiences with these opera companies, whether it was as a principal artist or as a young artist in the chorus, and people would pull me aside, not just anybody, like artistic directors, stage directors, colleagues, other principal singers who had more established careers. They pulled me aside. I can't even tell you how many times. And they sat me down and they said, look, you're a great guy. You're really fantastic as a person and as an actor, but I just don't think you're going to learn how to sing. So listen, some people have it and some people don't. And you're, I think, one of those guys that just is never going to learn how to sing. You should quit. My response was the same thing with everybody. It was, look, you don't understand why I'm doing this, why I got into singing. I got into singing because I wanted to master this instrument. I wanted to take it to the level where I would be absolutely free and have the ability to sing any type of style unamplified to thousands of people. By the time I reached 30, I was singing in a way that hurt. I could sing for maybe an hour, and it would be a lot of strain on my voice, and it did not feel good. And I got so frustrated because it should be easier than this. I was, thinking to myself, God, it's just got to be easier. There's got to be something that I can do better. I don't understand it, but everybody was telling me to quit. It felt horrible, and I wasn't having any fun. So at 30, I stopped studying, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to take a break from lessons, and I'm just going to sing on my own in a way that feels good. And then it hit me. I was like, sing in a way that feels good. Duh. We are not taught that, a lot of us. I was not. That you should trust your own instincts. It should feel good. Singing is natural. It's a physicality. I had never thought that way. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to break some rules here based on what I know singing to be. But I'm just going to sing in a way that feels good. We'll see what happens. And no one really heard me sing except my wife, Janine, who has been with me through every step of the whole process. And so she was like my ears too. And I would pull her into my studio and I'd say, okay, this is how I used to sing it. This is how I sing it now. What do you think? Because I know which one feels better, but which one sounds good to you. And she always chose the one that felt the best. So I went out on my first audition, and it was for this small little opera company, and they were auditioning for 2 operas. One was Johnny Skiki, and the other one was Madama Butterfly. And I knew that I should be auditioning for the Johnny Skiki, the part of Ranuccio. And so I went in, sang for that, and a couple days later, the artistic director called me, and he said, look, I know you auditioned for the Johnny Skiki, but I would like to offer you the role of Pinkerton in Butterfly. And I didn't know what to say, except no thanks, because I'd never sung a role like that before. So I immediately said, I think you got the wrong guy. I'm not sure that I should be singing that. It's a little bit too much for me to do right now because I'm just kind of figuring things out. And he said, no, hear me out. I hear something in what you're doing. I want to offer you this opportunity. It's no stress. Just try it out. See how it feels. And so I went for it. It was a great experience. My voice opened up. I was able to sing the role of Pinkerton, which I never thought I would ever be able to sing. And I learned so much about just letting it feel good. Still, no idea how I was doing it. But from then, I started getting other gigs where it was the same type of situation, where I was offered like Alfredo in Traviata. Never thought I'd sing that. The role of Rodolfo in La Boheme. What? I was having all of these great experiences with lots of different opera companies, and they were the perfect size opera company for a guy like me trying to figure his stuff out. And it was wonderful. It was great. I was able to try things and break rules in my own mind of what singing was and how I had learned it in terms of technique. And then I got to this point where I had an audition, and it was an audition for something that didn't seem like a very big deal. It was a reading of a new opera / musical. And so I went in and I sang and auditioned for the producer, the conductor, and the composer. The composer is Gershon Kingsley, wonderful composer and really great guy too. He wrote a really nice piece, and it was being conducted by Hal Prince's son, Charlie Prince, which was a very big deal. And they explained to me that they would like to hire me. They cast me as the supporting tenor part, and for the leading part, the title role, they had a major opera star who was going to sing the title role. I had no idea that this gig was going to be the gig that changed my life forever.
I've a very strange feeling I've ne'er felt before. 'Tis a kind of a grind of depression. My heart's acting strangely, it feels rather sore. At least it gives me that impression.